Open world and sandbox games are undeniably addictive. Their brand of structured freedom amplifies video game escapism at a $1 per gaming hour ratio that's often unparalleled. But there are bad habits that have almost become standardized features within the genre. Here's a quick little set of rules, commandments, if you will, that should help guide any upcoming sandbox game in the right direction. Is it so hard to provide a difficulty slider in an open-world game? Apparently so. While game developers might allow players the freedom to approach their targets from land, sea, or the air, sometimes they forget the importance of the freedom of changing the game's difficulty. Open-world games can also be entirely too easy for many players, so offering a difficulty slider not only adds replayability, but it widens the potential player base. Watch Dogs, the Far Cry, and the Batman Arkham series make great use of their hardest difficulties, while Grand Theft Auto and the Assassin's Creed series are still stuck in their ways. What do Grand Theft Auto games, the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout series, Minecraft, and the Witcher series all have in common? They stay relevant because of mods. Skyrim is still a hot seller, and that's largely due to modding. At the time of writing this, it's within the top 50 selling games on Steam, and Minecraft filled small warehouses to the brim with $100 bills. Mods let players express their creativity in new and innovative ways. They sometimes fix issues with games long after development support has stopped, but overall, mods make games more fun. For free, by people who simply love games. Don't sprinkle the map with trinkets, that's busy work, that's not gameplay, it's not fun. Sleeping Dogs and the Assassin's Creed series are the absolute worst at this. Marking the minimap with the location to every single treasure chest, each with a sum total of $5 inside, might be great to pad the game's total hours for a 100% completion rating, but it's artificial and shallow at best. Could you imagine if Skyrim had marked the location to all of its treasure chests and demanded players to get them all to get a 100% rating? The exhilaration of a treasure chest comes from its discovery, and then the anticipation of what might possibly be inside. Otherwise, it's a digital version of 52 pickup. If the player knows where all the chests are, it removes the player from the game screen, and then the game is played on the mini-map, like a $60 game of Pac-Man, but with no ghosts. A game's economy can add longevity in open-world games, but most open-world games are entirely too generous with their currency, either throwing fortunes at the player or equipping them with every overpowered weapon imaginable by simply completing a third of the game. Games can keep players playing if there are more missions to play, but having digital knickknacks available to purchase will do the same. We gamers can become digital hoarders in our virtual worlds, but an imbalanced currency system can suck the fun right out of the experience. It removes the risk out of the risk versus reward equation. Many players like myself hate quick traveling in open world games. Moving from point A to B shouldn't just be busy work for the player. It should add to the experience, giving the player not only the thrill of discovery as they explore virgin digital soil, but further immersing the player into the world and presenting strategic freedom. The Far Cry series has a great travel system, letting players swim or fly or drive to their target location, and then giving the player the freedom to attack their target from whichever direction they want. The later Batman games are the same, except for the Batmobile, which handles like sludge on wheels. Soaring through the skies and choosing how to approach your objectives is almost as fun, if not more fun, than the combat. At launch, Geralt's horse Roach was a pain, stopping at every pebble in the road. Watch Dogs completely flubbed its driving, and its economy while I'm at it, making driving a chore. I used quick travel a lot in that one. Bigger does not always mean better. Some game worlds are simply too big to be any fun. Players can experience a well-crafted playground with a near-infinite variety of play options, or they can be plopped down into a huge empty parking lot. The Crew was probably 49 states too big. Just Cause 2, while an absolute blast to play, had a lot of dead space. The same can be said for Arkham Origins. Arkham City, on the other hand, is the well-crafted theme park, as are Grand Theft Autos 4 and 5. Never, ever, ever take your fan-beloved open-world franchise and turn it into an instance-based game like The Sims. The Sims 4, while more stylistic and more stable, removed too many player freedoms. Other games like Assassin's Creed Chronicles China and Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate either aren't fully realized as proper games in their own right, or spiritually they rely too much on their base games, and are weaker because of it. Exploring large towers to reveal the map and open quick travel locations has got to stop. What started as a clever idea in the original Assassin's Creed somehow became a near genre-wide standard. There are other, oftentimes better options for map exploration. Clearing a fog of war mechanic still works well, simply buying maps from a map merchant is always a good idea as long as it stays within the balanced economy, and there are games like Miasmata where the map is cleared out with a cartographic minigame. Or hey, maybe the character is native to the area and doesn't need to clear the map, but the tower mechanic needs to be used 90% less across all games. Endgame material is almost as important as the main storyline for open-world games. The Sims stays alive and popular because the game is almost entirely endgame driven. It's all frivolity. Buying new objects, nudging placement of your digital goodies just right in your home. Skyrim and Oblivion's endgames are almost the same. Their expansion packs are worthwhile, but players can continually tinker with their many homes, and they also largely benefit from the modding community. GTA 5 took an unorthodox approach and created a great co-op experience in GTA Online, where players save up more and more for their newer and better cars, and then of course, taking them to the shop and customizing them. Games like Batman and Sleeping Dogs, however, once the story is done, it's over. Aside from checking off a mental box, there is absolutely no reason to hunt down the Riddler's trophies. Open world games are huge, so getting a 100% completion rating will take more time than most standard games. I solved every puzzle within Assassin's Creed 4 just to be rewarded with an ultimate set of armor that was practically useless. Batman Arkham Knight only shows the true ending if you've solved all the Riddler's riddles. What do these two things have in common? The completionist reward is so lame that it's actually detrimental to normal players. It's almost insulting. And these two games aren't alone in this limp practice. Completionist rewards, if given at all, need to be more rewarding. There's plenty of open-world sandbox games on the horizon. Here's hoping they adhere to the commandments. This video is made possible through generous fan donations on Patreon.